Back in April, I put together a best 11 born since 2000, which seemed to get a pretty good response. Today we're looking at the opposite end of the spectrum and some players approaching the end of their playing days. I won't bore you with one of my tediously long introductions, but the 11 is based on current ability, and before 1985 means just that. So if you were born in 1985, you're too young to feature, but anyone born in 1984 or earlier is fair game. Here is our best 11 born before 1985. Goalkeeper, Gianluigi Buffon. The oldest player in this 11 at the age of 41, there were one or two rumours that Gianluigi Buffon might retire this summer, but the 2006 World Cup winner has instead returned to Juventus. Buffon signed a one-year deal with the old lady following a season away at PSG, and this will surely be the last of his remarkable career. Buffon is one of the greatest goalkeepers to have ever lived, and his consistency and longevity at the highest level is there to be marvelled at. He is no longer the finest goalkeeper in the world, but he's just about the best, born before 1985. Right back, Dani Alves. Brazil's success in the 2019 Copa America finals was the 41st trophy of Dani Alves' career, a remarkable trophy haul that puts him among the most decorated footballers to have ever lived. Alves isn't just treading water at the age of 36 though, he was one of Brazil's outstanding players at the finals, showing that he still has all the pace and adventurousness that made him one of the finest right-backs of his generation. He is a free agent at the time of recording, having just come to the end of a 2-year stay at PSG, but it seems unlikely that the Barcelona legend will retire this summer given his performances for Brazil and his appetite for the sport. Centre-back, Thiago Silva. Partnering Dani Alves in defence just as he does for Brazil, and did at PSG, is 34-year-old centre-back Thiago Silva. Like Alves, Silva is still a wonderful athlete who shows few signs of physical decline just yet. He has been one of the most accomplished and complete central defenders in Europe ever since arriving in the continent with AC Milan in 2009, and he became one of PSG's first marquee signings following Qatari investment in 2012. He has made the Ligue 1 Team of the Year in every one of his 7 seasons in Paris, and is a surefire inclusion in our best 11 born before 1985. Centre-back, Giorgio Chiellini. Partnering Thiago Silva in what is a formidable-looking centre-back partnership is Juventus legend Giorgio Chiellini. A regular interim since joining the old lady 14 years ago, Chiellini has racked up over 500 appearances for the Italian Giants, taking over the captaincy following Buffon's brief departure. An old-school centre-back who is neither the most glamorous nor the most capable on the ball, he is an absolute rock off the ball. Chiellini is aggressive, positionally excellent, and a fantastic competitor. Even at 34, he is among the most uncompromising centre-backs in the world, and he partners Thiago Silva here for us. Left back, Adriano. Left back was a bit of a problem area for us, with no outstanding candidates if I'm honest. I considered playing Giorgio Chiellini there and bringing in another centre-back, but he'd probably get torn to shreds for pace at full-back these days. So in the end, just edging out Gael Clichy, our choice is former Brazilian international Adriano. An excellent servant to both Sevilla and Barcelona, where he spent a combined total of 11 years, Adriano has been with Besiktas since 2016. He has lost a bit of pace, but he's smart, good on the ball, and capable of putting an excellent delivery into the box. Defensive midfield, Daniele De Rossi. Now, there is every chance that Daniele De Rossi could have retired by the time this video comes out, or not long after, but he's still active at the time of recording, and because of that he has to be included. The Roma legend spent 19 years with his hometown club between 2000 and 2019, but he wasn't offered a new deal at the Stadio Olimpico this summer. Aged 35 and still a more than capable defensive midfielder, there has been no shortage of interest in the World Cup winner this summer, but with injuries creeping in, it has been reported that De Rossi may choose to retire rather than move his family out of Rome. For now, he is our holding midfielder. Central midfield, Santi Cazorla. We've gone with an arrow 4-1-2-1-2 with a midfield diamond for our pre-1985-11, just so you know, and at the heart of our midfield is Villarreal's Renaissance man, Santi Cazorla. A couple of years on from an injury to his Achilles tendon, which was so severe that it required 8 operations, contracted gangrene, required a skin graft, and at times led doctors to fear Cazorla may never walk again and could even lose his leg, the 34-year-old made a stunning return to form last season. He didn't just make a return to full fitness, he was one of the outstanding midfielders in La Liga, and even made a return to the Spanish national team. Cazorla is a tremendous little midfield magician at his best, who is industrious, creative, and considered. He'd be a valuable addition to any team based on last season's form, and he's a nail-on starter for me. Central midfield, Andres Iniesta. Partnering Santi Cazorla in an all-Spanish central midfield duet, which should be enough to get you salivating, Andres Iniesta is one of the finest midfield players of his generation. Played variously as both a left winger and as a central midfielder throughout his career, I always preferred Iniesta in the middle of the park, particularly when he was at his peak. It would be fair to say he is no longer at his finest 2008-2015 vintage now, at the age of 35, and exiled to Japan, but the touch, technique, and understanding of the game never leave you. Iniesta still wouldn't look out of place in any team in the world, and he should look right at home in our inspired Veterans 11. Attacking midfield, Jonas. Most often played as a withdrawn forward but equally capable in attacking midfield, it is the latter role that Benfica star Jonas will take up in our pre-1985 11. A wonderful goalscorer for the majority of his career, Jonas has still been a bit of a late bloomer, reserving his most outstanding form for when he hit 30 and signed for Benfica. During his 5 years in Lisbon, the Brazilian has scored 137 goals in 183 games, despite rarely playing as an out-and-out centre forward. Jonas isn't the quickest at 35, but then he never was. He is an excellent technician with first-class movement, sharp finishing ability, and an eye for a pass. He should wreak havoc in this team. Centre forward, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We had no lack of options at centre forward. In fact, we were probably only spoilt 4 choice more when it came to our number 1, and that's one of the reasons why we're playing with 2 up top. The first of those 2 is one of the outstanding players of the last couple of decades, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The game's greatest journeyman in many respects, Ibrahimovic has played for 9 different clubs, but he's never moved on due to a lack of ability. A towering figure up top at 6'5", Ibrahimovic has always had excellent control, a lethal finish, and remarkable acrobatics. He has scored a grand total of 456 goals in 772 games at club level, including 35 in 42 since signing for LA Galaxy in 2018. You can debate the merits of the MLS until the cows come home, but that is some record, and Ibrahimovic certainly doesn't look past it, even as he approaches his 38th birthday. Centre forward, Fabio Quagliarella. Impossible to leave out off the back of a season in which he beat Cristiano Ronaldo to the Serie A Golden Boot at the age of 36, Fabio Quagliarella has been around forever, but he's probably playing the best football of his career right now. Italian footballers, and particularly strikers, have a bit of a habit of doing this, and whilst it probably wouldn't be right to call Quagliarella a late bloomer, he has just had the best campaign of his career. Starring for a Sampdoria's side which finished 9th in Serie A, Quagliarella scored 26 goals and made 8 assists in 37 appearances to top the division's scoring charts. A tireless runner with a first-class work rate, Quagliarella is never afraid to take a shot on, and that's a key reason why he scored so many goals last season. He was named as Serie A Forward of the Year for 2018-19, as well as winning the Golden Boot, and having earned a recall to the Italian national team for the first time in 9 years, Quagliarella scored 2 goals in 3 caps for the Azzurri. The team, including substitutes and a manager. Moving on to our substitutes bench, and our second choice goalkeeper could quite easily get the nod over Gianluigi Buffon, but we just edged towards the Juve legend in the fear that it would be blasphemy not to. Samir Handanovic is the goalkeeper who takes up a spot on the bench, another Serie A star who has been outstanding over the last 7 years at Inter Milan, which is something you can't say about an awful lot of Inter players. Handanovic is a 2-time Serie A goalkeeper of the year, and he'd have a few more of those if it wasn't for the man who starts ahead of him in this 11. Our reserve centre-back is Real Madrid and Portugal legend Pepe. Renowned for his rugged and sometimes thuggish approach to defending, it would be daft to deny Pepe's talents in spite of his flaws. At his best, he is tough, physical, dogged in his duties, and doesn't give the centre-forwards an inch. We had a whole host of options as second-choice full-back, but I'm going to go with Maxi Pereira, who has just come to the end of a 4-year stay at Porto. The diminutive and tenacious fullback won 125 caps for Uruguay, and he is a free agent at the time of this recording. Should anything happen to the likes of De Rossi, Cazorla or Iniesta in our midfield engine room, we have another Spaniard waiting in the wings, since Bruno Soriano, better known simply as Bruno, is the fourth name on our bench. A teammate of Cazorla's at Villarreal, Bruno is a one-club man, and he's not far off, playing the best football of his career as a deep-line playmaker right now at the age of 35. Should we wish to switch things up with regards to our formation, we do have two wide players up next, namely Franck Ribéry and João Quinn. Whilst his longtime Bayern pal Ian Robben has retired this summer, it remains to be seen what Ribéry will do next season. There are suggestions that he'll play for at least one more campaign. With that in mind, at the time of recording, he is well worth a place on the bench. João Quinn is a veteran even of this side, and particularly old for a winger, soon to turn 38. He has been excellent since rejoining his boyhood club Real Betis in 2015 though, and he currently captains the club. Lastly, as a backup to our centre forwards, we're going with one of the game's great late bloomers, Aritz Aduriz. He misses out on a starting berth off the back of his least prolific campaign in more than a decade, but the 4 consecutive 20-plus goal campaigns that preceded last season ensure he doesn't miss out on the bench. Aduriz is a big target man style centre forward who is really effective in the air, and he had the best campaign of his career in his mid-30s and is now aged 38. In charge of our 11, well, in managerial terms, it's not that impressive. Having been born before 1985, they virtually all have, and naturally, we'd go for Pep Guardiola since I think he's the best manager in the world. If you move the parameters up to something like age 70, we'd maybe go with Roy Hodgson or Dick Advocaat. Well, we'll go with a Roy and Dick joint managerial dream team, I think. What experience there is there. In terms of players who missed out on both our starting 11 and bench, we'll really quickly doff our caps to the likes of Jose Font, Javier Mascherano, Gael Clichy, Glenn Murray and David Villa, whilst equally tersely apologising to all those we haven't just mentioned. To recap, our best 11 born before 1985 looks like this: Gianluigi Buffon, Dani Alves, Thiago Silva, Giorgio Chiellini, Adriano, Daniele De Rossi, Santi Cazorla, Andres Iniesta, Jonas, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Fabio Quagliarella, with a bench of Sami Handanovic, Pepe, Maxi Pereira, Bruno Soriano, Franck Ribéry, João Quinn and Aritz Aduriz, all managed by the septuagenarian dream team of Roy Hodgson and Dick Advocaat. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, let us know your thoughts in the comments and any future video ideas you'd like to see from me. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and as always, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you enjoy our content.